Hey everybody, thank you for joining us tonight from wherever you are in the world. My name's Dan Doyle. Welcome to Expert in the House. I'm from Sydney, Australia. I'm an ambassador with a company called ASEA, and tonight I'm going to talk about the single greatest health science, anti-aging and sports performance breakthrough of our lifetime. I'm going to talk to you about some breakthrough products and technology. There's several reasons why people look at this breakthrough technology. One, you may have a health challenge yourself. You may know somebody, a loved one or a friend that may have a health challenge. You may not like the way you look or feel anymore as you're aging. You may understand the concept of looking after yourself through nutrition, food, diet, and exercise. You may be an athlete, or you may be looking for an opportunity. I want everybody who hasn't seen this presentation to relax, because I'm not here to sell you anything tonight or convince you of anything. I'm here to pass on information that you can do whatever you like with, but I can tell you now that you really need to know about this for the sake of you and your loved ones. Before I go into my story and what this is, I just want to go through the company disclaimer. You can see a couple of products up on the screen. You can see the ASEA Redox supplement, the Renew 28, and also we have a serum which you put on your face as well. And these products are not intended to treat, cure, prevent or diagnose any disease or medical condition. So I just want to be upfront with that. That is the company disclaimer. What we're talking about is a product technology that can empower the body to heal itself. So as I said when I first came on, that this technology, ASEA, is nothing less than the single greatest health science, anti-aging and sports performance breakthrough of our lifetime. So I'm going to take you through my journey now, my story. I'll keep the long story short, but I'll go back to my teens where I used to play rugby league, and I did judo, gymnastics, aerobics, and surfed. But I also did this thing called bodybuilding. This was me at the age of 24, going for the state titles in New South Wales in the next week. I was very serious about my sports, as I was to everything I did in life, traditional business, and excelled highly in really anything that I wanted to do, whether it be sports or business. Fast forwarding to the age 44, 20 years later, I look like this. So don't think I don't exercise. This photo is me literally in the gym at 6:30 in the morning, not as a bodybuilder, not doing heavy weights, but at 44 wanting to look the best I could for when I was 50 years old. And this was the start of me sort of making a comeback with getting to the gym and doing a lot of cardiovascular work. I didn't know at this point that I was in serious trouble with my health. As much as I looked like this and I felt good, I was in a lot of trouble with my health. I found a little lump underneath my left rib, and 6 months later, in May 2011, I got some really bad news. And this is a photo of me with no hair from the top of my head to my toes, where I spent 2.5 years in a second home in a hospital here in Sydney. What I went through, I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. This is a really fake smile. I wasn't feeling well at all in this photo. And next to me is a friend of mine, Johnny Manor, who played for the Parramatta Eels and Cronulla Sharks. Johnny's brother, Tim Manor, still plays for the Parramatta Eels. He's the captain. In this photo, Johnny was 21. He went through what I'd already been through with all these hospital visits. He had the good one. I had the bad one. He got through it to this point, but within 2 years it came back. Johnny ended up in hospital again with all those hospital visits, and we lost him at the age of 23 years old. After I went through 2.5 years of what I went through in this hospital in Sydney, my doctors told me to get my affairs in order. I was in shock. I called them a few names. I thought I was going to be okay after what they did to me all that time, but that wasn't going to be the case. So after putting my health in their hands and then giving me that news, I made a decision at that point to take the responsibility of my health back into my own hands. And I did some research, and all that research led to an alkaline diet. So all the things that I used to do and drink and eat and love, I literally had to give away, because I wanted to empower my body for my body to head in the direction that I needed it to. So red meat, chicken, alcohol, and all these things were out the door. I was very strict on this alkaline diet. And I also spent a lot of money on nutritional supplements to also feed my cells, to feed my body the right things to move my health forward. Unfortunately, all these products that I spent a lot of money on from companies around the world, like Zango's Mangosteen and Isagenix Product B, Cellgevity from Life Vantage, and Protandem and Kangen Water, and all these things I spent a lot of money on, money that I didn't have at the time with what I'd been through. Unfortunately, didn't do anything. So a direct result of 2 years on this diet and all these products, this is where I ended up. So my skin's an indication of what was still going on in the inside, and my blood works were still the same. They were still actually heading in the wrong direction. I looked like this. I actually looked 10 to 20 years older than what I did before I started everything in that hospital. So things weren't good. This is October 2014 when a friend of mine, Bart Cotter, called me from America, and all he said to me was, I think I found something that could help. So within a week, I flew across to the United States to a place I've never heard of, Salt Lake City. Took a friend of mine, Malcolm Sword, Mal. He'd been fighting skin challenges and issues for 40 years, spent over $100,000 on his skin issues. He came with us to America to have a look at this breakthrough for our health. And we ended up in the boardroom of this company called ASEA. And ASEA is a cellular health company. These bottles were actually sitting on the table when the atomic and medical physicist, Dr. Gary Samuelson, was talking about the breakthrough in the science and what this was. And all and was that what was in the 100% non-toxic, and it could have health benefits. And the great thing was it was free, so we were gorging it down. I went through about half a bottle while sitting there, and the meeting wrapped up, the presentation finished. We went back to the hotel room. We were going to have showers and get ready to go to dinner with the owners of the company, Tyler Norton, Vertus Norton, and also Dr. Gary Samuelson and all the executives of the company. And I took off my shirt to have a shower, and I'm covered in these little tiny red spots all over my chest, my back, and my shoulders. And at that stage, I didn't realize at the time, but what I was going through was what I was trying to achieve in 2 years prior to this photo, and that was to detox my body, to get rid of anything in there that wasn't supposed to be in there, to move my health forward. And that was the first win. I'd consider that a first win on this product. I tested this stuff the next day, and I woke up the next morning, I went to breakfast. Now for 20 years, I've had a caffeine intolerance. Any more than 2 coffees, I'm buckled over with issues and uncomfortable all day. And the next morning I had 6 coffees, and I went through the whole day, and there was nothing to remind me of what I endured for 20 years. So this is only 12 hours later. So this is my second win in a very short period of time. The day after that, long story short, I had so much lung damage from what I experienced in that hospital. I was having trouble breathing and talking at the same time, walking upstairs, walking up hills. It was a real effort for me. You can tell I don't have that problem anymore because within 48 hours, my lungs were functioning perfectly. And that were my first 3 major wins on this product within a 48-hour period. I went back to Australia. Do you think I kept drinking this product? Of course I did. We're paying a fortune to get it in because it wasn't here, wasn't approved. We're paying double shipping. It was costing $300 delivered for 4 of these nearly 1 litre bottles. So we kept getting it into Australia. I knew I needed the product. I knew what it did for me, and I was hoping, that it was going to keep improving my health. And basically, after 8 months, because I came from a situation where I was very successful in traditional business, but unfortunately, with what I went through, we lost everything financially. So after 8 months of consuming the product, only a bottle a week, knowing I needed a lot more, I could finally afford to take enough product or more product, the product that I needed to help my body to heal. And I went up to at least half a bottle a day in June 2015. So that was 8 months after I started. By December 2015, if you guys can recall what date this is October 2014. So just over a year later in December 2015, the doctors gave me some very good news. And this is a photo of me on the day. They told me the two major issues, not one, but two major issues that I had that they had no answers for, they couldn't find any sign of. And I still get 6 monthly checkups. And yesterday, my bloods were totally pristine, as they have been since 2015. And there's no sign of this problem that my doctor still tells me that's coming back, but in 100% of cases. But I can tell you now, and I told him yesterday that I'm going to bugger up his statistics. So in this photo, by this stage, I'd also gone through a lot of other changes. I had multiple injuries from playing sports from 30 to 40 years prior to this photo. Injuries that were getting worse every year. I had a neck problem, I had a shoulder problem, I had a hand problem, I had hip problems, pelvic problems, back problems, major issues that were getting worse and worse every year that I didn't have at this stage in this photo, because my whole body had been rebuilt in 2015, including pollen problems and sneezing and runny nose and sniffing things up in my nose in the morning from the pharmacy that wasn't doing me any good, that I used for 20 years, that I didn't have to use by the time I took this photo. The next photo, that's my journey back to health. The next photo is, I suppose, something that I didn't expect, because I came from these sports that I did and going fishing and everything. A lot of stuff was outdoors, so I never used any sunblock, sunscreen. As a matter of fact, we used to bake with coconut oil. So I had a lot of freckles. You can see it in this photo here. But mind you, this is after a year. I was in a lot worse situation, this with my skin prior. And the next photo just shows how I've gone from this photo to 2 years later, and everything's just being cleaned up and cleared up from what this technology can do for the body, for the skin, for everything. So I'm just going to step back and just show you that again, from those hospital visits to obviously 2 years on that alkaline diet and spending a fortune on these nutritional supplements. And obviously after 2.5 years of hospital visits, this was the result. And then to just over 12 months on this product, and then 2 years later, and as you can see, what I look like now, nearly a year after that again. I'm just going to stop sharing the screen and bring you guys up on the full screen. There you go. How you going? So before I go into this product, the technology, the breakthrough, what it is, what I want to do is just talk about how disease starts in the body. And the body goes out of balance. There's cells in the body that may not be detected, that unfortunately, if not detected, these cells will start dividing. And, 2 cells, if not detected, will turn into 4 and 8 and 16, 32, so on. And it spreads through your body. By the time it comes to the surface, by the time you're actually diagnosed, by the time you actually find the problem, the issue has been brewing between 5 and 20 years, a very, very long time. And by the time you find out that you do have something, you might have ended up in a situation like me, worst case scenario, and going through those hospital visits where you lose all your hair all over your body. Or you might be on medication for the rest of your life to try and suppress or keep on top of what you're going through to try and control it. And these medications lead to other issues, which lead to other medications and so on. The body does have the ability to heal itself. We all know how important the immune system is. The immune system is very important, and we've all got an immune system. People think they've got to get their immune system up. You're sick in bed, you've got a cold, flu, virus, infection, whatever it may be, I've got to get my immune system up. Truth of the matter is, it's literally the signals, the communication to the immune system to where the problem is. We actually produce these signals, the communication to signal the immune system and our body to come into where the issue is. So I don't want to go too much into the science, but we have this thing called the mitochondria within the cell. The mitochondria produces the energy for the cell, the ATP. So as a byproduct of energy production, there's a chemical reaction that changes the molecular structure of salt water into stabilized, balanced redoxyl molecules. So we actually produce these molecules. Now, when I say stable and balanced, they are for about a split second, because they have a split second to do their job. And their job is to detect a cell. And once they detect a cell, they will signal the immune system to come in to either protect it if it's good, repair it if it needs repair, or destroy and replace if it's too far gone. Detect, protect, and replace. Protect, detect, repair, replace. So that's the main function of these redox signaling molecules when they're produced. But we all know how important antioxidants are as well. The thing is, antioxidants do not work. They're absolutely useless unless they're activated by these molecules that we produce. The other function and role of these molecules is to find the oxidative stress, to detect it and to reduce it in the body. Oxidative stress leads to 95% of degenerative disease. So an example of oxidative stress would be the plaque that builds up in arteries that causes heart disease. So without the detection of these problems, the body has no idea they're there. These molecules are critical in that function. That's what they do. They also detect the bacteria, the virus, and the infection in our body. And without the detection, body doesn't know they're there. These things get out of control, antibiotics, etc. They also turn on genes. Genes literally are switched on in our body, activated to light our bodies up and increase our healing power. So these molecules are critical and crucial to life. They literally run our whole body. If you stop producing them right now, you'd only have a few breaths left in your body, literally only a few breaths. So very, very important to keeping our cells working at optimal level. Now, some of you may have children and grandchildren, and if you don't, hopefully you'll know what they are. I don't have them personally, and probably because they do run around with a lot of energy. So as you know, they do that. They heal and recover very, very quickly because they're producing an abundance of these redox signaling molecules. By the time we get to 12, the production of these molecules starts slowing down due to the fact of the environmental impact of what we're eating, breathing, and drinking, and all the toxins that we're taking in. So the mitochondria is not functioning as well as it did when we were really young. By the time we get to my age of 50 years old, we only have 50% production left. By the time we get to 70 years old, we only have 10% production left. So a 70-year-old is healing and recovering 10 times slower than what they did at the age of 10 years old. So that's all the bad news. The good news is that this company, ASEA, has managed to, after 17 years, stabilize these molecules outside of the body in these products. So now we've got a supplement that we can drink that is 100% non-toxic, that's bioactive, which means as soon as it's consumed, it knows what to do, it works, and it's native to the body. Bioactive because it is native to the body. So everything we're putting in is either natural or pharmaceutical, toxins or whatever. This is 100% non-toxic, bioactive, native to the body. As soon as it goes in, it works straight away. It cannot miss. Scientifically impossible not to work. So we're replenishing our bodies with trillions and trillions and trillions of these redox signaling molecules, stabilized and balanced. What this company has managed to do is change the molecular structure of salt water outside of our body. So this goes through a 3.5-day electrochemical process where saline solution, medical grade saline solution, exactly what you get when you go into hospital and you put on a saline drip, is when it goes through this electrochemical process, the atoms are pulled apart and then reconstructed over 3.5 days into these stabilized, balanced redox signaling molecules, which they've got into a bottle. Science thought it was impossible. ASEA's actually produced it outside of our body. We've actually physically got it. It's proven that that's what it is, not salt water anymore. And we can consume it, top up a 70-year-old to potentially empower their body to heal like they're 10 years old again. So I'm going to do a little bit of a Q&A at the end of this session, so you may have questions. But if you're going to ask questions, don't ask me questions on specific medical conditions. If you do, I'm going to ask you a question back. Is there a cell involved? We're made up of 75 trillion cells. So if you want to know about a specific condition and can this help, if there's a cell involved, more than likely. Well, yes, obviously it will. So don't ask about specific conditions or issues, but more than happy to take questions at the end of this session. Now, great thing is that this company, ASEA, has also come out with the molecules in a topical gel called Renew 28. So my claim to fame is we can't make any claims that I'll make one. Just you got to keep a secret though. Prior to using this product 3.5 years ago, I used to be quite ugly. But you saw by the photos, guys, that everything has improved over the last 3.5 years, and I'm absolutely wrapped with the results, not just on the outside, but definitely on the inside with what I was going through. They've also managed to get the molecules into a serum for fine lines. So there is a little bit of a skincare regime for any of you interested. I wasn't interested in anything on my skin, apart from coconut oil to bake in the sun and get brown decades ago, but I've been using these products since they've been out. I use a cleanser now, never used a cleanser. I've worked out that I can wash my hair with this stuff, it foams up, and I can also shave with it. Fantastic product, but that gets the molecules ready for putting it on your skin. All over body rejuvenation with Renewer 28, put it on anything you don't like on the outside from the top of your head to your toes. And this is something that you'll put on next on your face after the cleanser. And this is the serum for fine lines. And then they brought out a moisturizer to support the molecules. Yes, would you believe I use all this stuff twice a day? I use it religiously because at my age at 50, I want to turn back time and really happy with the results. So that's all about these products. I'll just see if there's any questions because I'm going to go into a next part, which is all to do with the other reason why I'm here. I mean, first, physically, I'm here because of these products, but I'm also here and back financially because of a business opportunity, a word-of-mouth business model. And if it wasn't for the business model, if it wasn't for Bart Cotter, my friend, calling me from the United States, and thank goodness I listened to him, as I said, I wouldn't be here. But after 5 months, I made a decision to start sharing this with the world. And the reason for that is because it came a responsibility with what I knew that it could do for people. It would have been wrong to keep this to myself. I'm doing everything I can to get it out there now. But if I go back 3.5 years ago from coming from being a very successful businessman with building 20 traditional businesses over 20 years, not having to worry about putting food on the table, going to a situation where I lost my health, all those hospital visits, we lost everything financially. And 3.5 years ago, I almost went to the Salvation Army for food stamps. It was very, very desperate times. So there was a lot of reasons to start. Obviously, the responsibility with what I knew, but at the end of the day, I needed to put food on the table. I needed to buy more product for my own health, and I started building the business. So I came from traditional business, and I used to run away from the network marketing business model. I'd say to everybody, don't be scared of the model. It's just another business model. I was ignorant myself when it came to this type of business model. I used to think people were crazy doing this type of business. I would never go back to corporate or traditional business now. So for you guys who are just after the product for your health, go back to the person who introduced you right now, and they will work out a product plan for 3 months of how to use the product to get the best results on the product. We're here to support you and advice and anything like that. So just reach out to anybody and everybody, and just make sure you get on the right product plan and commit to 3 months. We know that 15% of people will see or feel something within 1 week, 30% within 30 days, 60% within 60 days, and 90% of people will feel or see something within 90 days. We want you to be in that 90%. But the other 10% who didn't feel or see something, unfortunately, like your bad cells divide that come to the surface after 5 to 20 years that you can't feel, in them, in you, in us, when we're on these products, our good cells are being attended to and dividing and spreading through our body as well. So regardless of whether you can feel it or not, as I said, scientifically impossible not to work. So guys, there is a massive, massive opportunity to help you get this to the planet. We've got an incredible man, Vertus Norton, who without him and not selling out to the pharmaceutical industry, he's left this as his legacy to humanity. I've made a decision with what I've been through physically, with regaining my health, to help people for as long as I'm here, and I'm going to leave my legacy to humanity. So if you want to talk about the business model, make sure you reach out to the person who's introduced you again, and we can help you, train you, teach you how to get this to the world effectively and efficiently without saying the wrong thing, because we've made all the mistakes, and we can take you to anywhere you want to go with this incredible opportunity and breakthrough. This would be the biggest gift that you could ever receive. So personally, I'd recommend you be thanking the person who introduced you. And it would be the biggest gift that you could ever give anybody. So we've got a gift, which is a vehicle called ASEA, which is a company with these incredible breakthrough products that everybody on the planet needs, everybody that's living, including animals and plants. And we've got an incredible opportunity to help people. That's all we do. We help people. We pass on information. We're not here to sell anything to anybody. We don't convince anybody of anything. But we can help you to get this to the world. And it can also create a lifestyle, and financial freedom as well. So whatever you choose to do with this, just reach out. We can give you all the support that you require. And I can tell you now, you will never experience the support that you experience from what we can give you in anything that you've ever done before. So don't think you're just going to get involved with taking the product and for your health, for example, and then that's it. We go, well, it's all yours. Or you want to share this with the world and we do the same thing. That's not in our best interest. It's not achieving what we want to do. It's not the company's intention, or it's not that's not what the company wants to do as well. They actually give us thank you checks, pay us handsomely, and make it as easy as possible to remove those speed humps, hoops, and hurdles to make us as successful as possible to get this to the world as quickly as possible. Guys, I thank you so much for coming on this call tonight. Hopefully we've helped with information that we passed on to you. This has been recorded. There will be a copy of this. We'll get this out. And hopefully we'll see you on the call next week. I won't be on it, but somebody else, another leader will be on it to be able to share this incredible technology, breakthrough products, and the opportunity. Thank you so much.